Welcome to 17 Balls, where freedom starts with your next move. Today we'll be talking about why high intensity training builds real fitness. So let's get into it. So, what is high intensity training? It's usually short bursts of hard effort followed by recovery. This type of training pushes your heart, your lungs, your muscles, and believe it or not, your mind to another level. So, here I got a video clip of me climbing. I went and did some mountain bike high intensity training today. So basically, on all the hills, I did about 7 pulls. And what do I mean by 7 pulls or 7 high intensity efforts, where I just kind of pushed myself as hard as I can up the hills, basically redlined for about a couple minutes. So here you can see I'm just cranking away. You can also tell by my breathing, I'm pretty exhausted pushing up the hill. Here's a quick view of the hill I'm going up. Like I said, I do about 5 to 7 pulls. So here's another little hill, kind of pointing up where I'm going. Kind of shoots up into trees, goes back up into the hillside there. So this is another little sprint I'll do. I'll just sprint as hard as I can all the way up to the hill. I'm getting my heart rate up to close to 170. So it's a good little sprint. So this is that hill I showed earlier in the video clip. I'm going up it now, charging up it. As you can see, I'm just starting to power through it, and I kind of go as hard as I can. So again, high intensity training, just short bursts of power. So here I'm just cranking. And when I get to the top, I'll kind of relax a little bit, do some easy spins. There's a little bit of downhills. I kind of recover, gather myself. And then you'll see there'll be a couple more slow little, not slow, but high intensity climbs where I got to start cranking again. And again, I'll get to the top, kind of get into recovery mode and just get into some easy climbs and then maybe a little downhill and just recovery. And then I'll show a couple other video clips of where as I go through the mountain, there's just a bunch of different hills that I'm just doing all this high intensity training on. And I get, there's spots where I get to recover, pedal easy, drink some water, and then back at it. Apologize too for the video. I thought I had the GoPro kind of centered on my chest. Looks like I gotta bring it up a little bit higher. So just bear with me, and hopefully the next one I'll get it better. But here, as you can see, I'm just kind of recovering, going downhill, enjoying a little bit of a slight downhill grade, and then we'll get to the bottom, and then, as you guessed it, start cranking up again, and start getting that heart rate up. So all these little ups and downs and ups and downs, it's like I said, it's just working that heart, working those muscles, getting that blood flowing. See right here, I'm cranking up again. So now I'm just, hard, kind of easier to harder gears to where I'm keeping a somewhat decent pace, but I'm also pushing myself as hard as I can. So here again, here's my next pull. So here we go again, charging up the hill. This one was a little steeper. It got pretty steep towards the top. I won't show the whole video, but it just basically this is the idea, guys. Is just high intensity, just crank out until your lungs and your heart are ready to pop out of your chest. Basically, I do this. I kind of alternate this. One week I'll do zone 2, and one week I'll do high intensity. So this week is, you guessed it, high intensity. So these are my numbers after my ride. Shitty part is I forgot to wear my heart rate monitor, so make sure you wear that because your data won't be as accurate. As you can see, I was definitely in zone 6 a lot, and I was zone 6 and 5 is probably my whole ride basically, except for obviously when I did the recovery and I was going downhills or just easy spinning. But for most of the ride, all my efforts were between zone 5 and 6 and 4. Okay, so here you can see my training effect 3, my lucky 3.0. As you can see, I don't know if you remember from my last video, I tend to stay. I don't like to go higher than that because when I go higher than that, I dig myself a hole. And I want to keep training. Again, it's Monday, so I want to train most of the week. So I don't like to go over 3.0 in training effect. In my anaerobics 1.3, it should be higher, but again, I didn't wear my heart rate monitor, so that's my fault. Because typically when I'm doing these power high intensity training sessions, they kind of mimic each other. So like my anaerobic would be close to 3.0 as well as my aerobic. So they kind of go hand in hand when I'm pushing hard. So that's why I know my heart rate monitor. That's how you can tell when you got inaccurate data, which is kind of shitty, kind of sucks. So here's some data from Saturday. I did motocross, and that's extremely high intensity. Obviously, you can see with my heart rate strap. See the difference? See my anaerobic? It's 3.6, and look at where I'm redlining. Like the whole pretty much over 10 minutes, I'm above 166. So just to give you a good idea why you always want to wear a heart rate strap. So why the hit training? Because if you're like me, an active junkie, you're always pushing yourself. You're always pushing your heart to maximum output. The more you do this high intensity training, the more your heart, your body, everything's going to adapt. Your power, your endurance, your recovery, your mental toughness out of all this. It's going to get easier and easier. But just be careful. You don't want to overtrain. That's the mistake people will make. They always try and destroy themselves. Too much hit can crush your recovery and performance. So you always got to maintain that balance. Just like when I referred to the training effect on my watch, I never go over 3.0 because I've done it before. I don't want to like that's what I mean when I say I don't want to dig myself into a hole because I want to keep on training all week long. So just remember, recovery is just as important as intensity is. So make sure you're getting your sleep, the right nutrition, your electrolytes, all that good stuff. And that's pretty much all I got, guys. So a little zone 2 one week, a little high intensity the following week. Try it out. Let me know how you feel. Thanks.